and I was like, oh shit, okay.
So yeah, I know that it wasn't you that booted me out,
No, exactly.
and so
You
yeah,
literally came up to me.
I know that you guys had nothing to do with that. So I mean, just so we're clear, I mean that's not an issue.
Yeah, but I really hated that you got booted because when you came in and gave your resume and your introduction, you were like a breath of fresh air that
Thanks.
that I was hoping for, and I was really, really like really devastated when you got kicked out because yeah, I think you were gonna come in and say what needed to be said, honestly.
Well, I mean, I had a couple of things to say. The first thing that needed to be said was what I said to Bree. Um, like there was a reason I addressed her first, and is because my priority is to just acknowledge, that like the American Black community and the Indigenous community here in Canada and elsewhere in the world, we're just in two different lanes,
Right.
and I was really sort of feeling like, your lane's being invalidated over there, and I wasn't happy with that. Like I wasn't happy with what I was seeing. And I know that on, my community we were in pain and for a reason, and we were coming after the errant brother for a reason. But um I didn't want the other community that was in pain because of this. I didn't want the other community that was in pain because of this guy. I didn't want it means something very specific. And as Indigenous people, we it's not our place to invalidate that. And there are outside of the United States, that statement is also different. So um like when if Ms. Jones had simply said, if you are a Black American and you identify as white passing, then you are white. I would have not had any issue with that whatsoever. I'd be like, oh, not my lane. That's basically what it would have been. Not my lane. Okay. But because she didn't specify Black Americans, she just said Black and Indigenous. Well, okay, now she's stepping on me, and she's stepping on Black people in Australia and other places. And so I was very angry about that. But it really was a priority to just notice and acknowledge that, like, Bree was pretty upset because a parade of aunties were barging in and telling our errant brother what he needed to hear, you know? But space must be given, and it was like I didn't find out until later that this was not our space to be in. I found that out the hard way. And I just wanted to acknowledge that, like Nuggets, honestly, you pissed me off, but I mean, I also have to acknowledge my part in coming in here uninvited to try and collect my guy there, and you know,
Yeah,
because the indigenous.
I feel like you got even from your. I've learned so much from your videos that you've been putting out, White Star. I didn't even know that cultural aspect. Um, like I say all the time, like when I speak, I make sure I say, as a Black woman, I'm coming from this perspective, just to make sure I'm not indicating that I'm talking or speaking for anybody else's community. I didn't even know that was part of your culture to leave and go collect someone that's like off the road or somewhere else. And
Oh, okay.
yeah, I saw that video and I was like, oh, I had like I didn't know that. I'm like,
Yeah.
this,
Oh, yeah. I
this
mean,
is
first of all, we're matriarchy. We are matriarchal. So when one of our guys is off being a dumbass, aunties will show up. We will collect his ass. And it will be the women that come after him. It will not be the men. Well, usually.
I would have
It'll be
made
the women and the
I would,
two spirits. And yeah.
I would have made a statement like, look, we about to gather. I'm about to work prosecution real quick, and then you guys get him, go ahead and do what you got to do. If I'd known that, but my whole thing's like, I need to make sure I do what I do in the courtroom. I need to clear space for a confession. That's that's
Yeah.
that's strategy. I need to make sure there is no lie, misunderstanding. There is no confusion about statements. Clear everything off the table, and then okay, prosecution. If the defendant is up there, right? A
Yeah.
prosecutor gonna let the defendant talk. A defense attorney gonna say be quiet. Everybody's like, oh, you
Yeah.
defending. I'm like, y'all never been in the, you know, a defense attorney be like, you talking too much. You doing too much. Okay, be quiet. You close your mouth. A prosecutor
Yeah.
gonna be quiet and let the person talk. Because you can have all the speculation and evidence and I think this, but like I said already, there is nothing more solid than a confession. And you
Yeah.
gotta give space for that confession. Go ahead, talk. Go ahead, talk. Say what you gotta say.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because he ended up saying a lot. Like I was
He
talking
said
to you,
exactly.
and then all of a sudden he came in and he said, and I quote, "I admit it, I don't like white people," and I'm like,
Well, that wasn't even the bad part, honestly.
Oh
well,
yeah,
it
capitalism, white supremacy stuff, and I was in the comments like, "That's white supremacy. That's crazy." Doing stuff for
no,
money.
he said quite a lot of really crazy things. But I remember that was like so out of the blue. Like we weren't even there. We were talking in a totally different arena, and all of a sudden he comes through with that, and I nearly said, I don't care what you think. The women are talking, but I didn't. So I mean, it's really. Oh, you know what? If any of you guys are Danae, follow me because I need to find out a translation if any of you guys speak the language. Um, yeah, I don't know, man. Like that, this whole
I
situation is so hurtful for both communities.
Right.
You know?
No, yeah, 1,000% sure, and I recognize that a lot of people from different groups from apparently all around the world came in, obviously very traumatized and left that live even more traumatized than they
Yeah.
arrived. I will say this though, I did follow you I think yesterday morning, um, and sent you like a comment. If you're open and willing to have a conversation, uh, I wanted to reach out to you, and it took me a minute to find you anyway. I think because I don't know, TikTok is like making it really hard to find people right now.
Yeah, TikTok doesn't want me to have a voice.
Yeah, and I was
You know, yeah,
so frustrated when you got banned. Um, I was like, yeah, and I wanted to have a conversation with you and explain to you what took place. That is the scariest thing that has ever happened in this house. Cajun, hang on just a second.
Um, Salem 07. Ooh, that scared me.
No,
I don't. For factual information to be put out, we met MW once. Once. I don't have his number. I never talked to him other than that day that we had drinks. and some pizza. So friends is a weird concept. I know this parasocial stuff be like confusing people, but I got about 5 friends on this app out of all the followers and stuff. And I have people that that I love, and I love to give education and inspire and things like that. But in regards to friends, I got about 5.
Yeah.
So
And see, you know what? I don't hate the guy. I just think he's off the path. And if I could, I'd just, lasso the guy and drag him home. Like, I'm angry at him. I think he's hurting people, but I don't hate the man. Like, I don't have any hate in my heart. I just think he's going the wrong way. And I've been studying the 7 grandfather teachings of the Anishinaabe Nation, and checking myself, because I got a big ego, you guys. I do. And I got to call myself in, and I've been doing just a lot of thinking and reconnecting. I went and visited the Ojibwe horses, the spirit horses. And I don't know if you know about them, but they're actually an indigenous horse. They do not come from Europe. And it's an extremely rare breed, and a new foal was born last week. So I went over to the farm when it was a few hours old, and I connected with the horse. And this might not mean anything to you, but the new foal is Ojibwe, and he's black, and he has just this one white foot. And to me, that's a message. He is so beautiful, and he's black and indigenous with just a little white. And I'm like, I don't know if you're into any kind of mysticism or spirituality like that, but to me, that was telling me, you know what? There's healing to be done, and maybe I can help in that somehow. And so, like, with that, I let go of a lot of my with him because of that, because we have our own voices, and it would be great if we could have those conversations, And so I don't know. I keep reaching out and saying, hey, I'll save you a seat. Come here, talk to me about this or that. And he doesn't take me up on it for some reason.
I had a call in last night actually, because during the interaction that I had with the first guest in the box, the comments, a lot of the comments, were Black and Afro-Indigenous people saying like this is, invalidating, this is triggering, it is trauma, and like I had a call in because I had a couple reach out like, yeah, you got to say something. And so I did. But what I learned in the call-in is that even if a group comes to me to speak or say something, my role, and this is a lesson I've learned, my role in that, knowing that I have a semi-medium platform, is to reach out to somebody in that community. Even if I consider, I'm African, I'm indigenous to Benin, but I can reach out to somebody in that community and say, hey, I have a couple people asking me to speak on something. Do you mind maybe joining me on a video or something like that to discuss it or talk about it? So that it's actually your voice that's speaking through. And I think that was a very good, it was a healthy critique and a very good critique that allowed space for the acknowledgement that I'm getting asked, like, hey, can you do something? Can you do something? But not necessarily, I don't have to hold that. I'm strong, but I don't need to endure everything. You know what I mean? Like, I can allow space to say, hey, can you help me with this? Can you join me in this? And that's a growing space I think I've learned from this experience.
Yeah. Well, I think there's a lot of healing to do between the communities, and I don't know if you guys really know Lance personally, but my desire to talk to him is genuine, and I promise I won't use any bad gamer references about characters. That's what got me kicked. Okay. Me? Hey, knock it off.
How are you?
Come here, Taterhead.
Right, go, Jeff.
Show me butt.
I'm gonna say
All right.
sorry again, guys. I'm periodically saying that. If I seem like I'm not fully engaged, I promise I am. I'm just very tired from traveling, so I'm just tired. But I promise I'm here and listening and
Well, that's
trying.
okay. That's okay. Like I'm just here casually saying hello. I mean, honestly, I just saw you and I'm like, oh, there's my new friend, so I'm gonna say hi.
I like literally every day I wake up like I appreciate white women. There's so many like there's a space there I feel for me to, because everybody has blinders, right? We all have blind spots.
Oh yeah.
When it's places you're uneducated, you haven't stepped foot in, so you don't know. And it's very comforting and very healthy to have somebody to say like, okay, there's a blind spot here, and then say it in a healthy way. Say like, this is your blind spot. Here's what it is. And
Yeah.
I'm just happy for the individuals that have granted space for that on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
It's growth happening and like healing happening in a truth space, not necessarily like a promote space.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, like so many people have been harmed by this whole situation that I don't know. I would like to be part of the healing journey. And I don't really know what that role will be for me, but I'm hoping that in time. Hey, Howley, how's it going? Howley's one of my auntie gang. She's awesome.
Nice. I guess technically my dogs are technically indigenous, actually.
Here we go.
Yeah.
White people, let me tell you something. White people and their pets.
No, they're Alaskan Klee-Kai. They were actually
Okay.
in Alaska. They're Alaskan Klee-Kai. So yeah.
Oh, okay.
They're technically, yes, they were made by indigenous groups from Alaska.
Jen, did you like my little fun I snuck in there? Hi, Harmony.
Yeah.
For heaven's sake, B.
Yeah.
But that's really cool. The story you told about like your horses and stuff.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna the horse told me. The horse doesn't have a name yet. We did a naming ceremony a couple days ago. So in a couple of days we'll know the new foal's real name. Mm-hmm. And but that foal told me to be a part of the healing. Because it's an indigenous and black and so beautiful. It brings you to tears. And I had a vision when I met that horse, and I'm not going to share it. But what it means is going to reveal itself in time. All I know is that I need to recenter my spirit around love, which is one of the 7 grandfather teachings. And I need to go from a place of love for my people and love for everyone. And try to let go of the anger, or at least along and listen to me talk nonsense. You're welcome to.
No, like I said, I did follow you, and I did shoot you a comment, and it's also my understanding that you were looking for a very specific point where someone says a very specific thing.
I got it.
Yeah, I was gonna say I have that. Yeah. I have that for you. If not, and I also have some other points of interest. But like I said,
you know what? I just followed you back. So if you want to talk privately about portions of that day,
Yeah.
then maybe we could do that privately, because I don't want to rehash everything out here,
Yeah.
right? I don't
No,
feel like right now. I feel like this is more of a healing space at the moment, and rehashing stuff is not going to be conducive to that.
exactly. And yeah, that's why I was trying to be vague. But yeah, definitely, when you have the time and the space for it, would love to hear your perspective for sure.
Hmm. Well, I haven't watched everything, so I mean, like I've been protecting my peace a little bit. So I haven't watched everything, but I want to watch all the things that you think are significant and maybe just break that down. And one thing, though, I'm autistic, which means I don't mince words. I am blunt, and I can't figure out anybody's. I can't figure out anybody's version of polite, because there's so many different versions of polite. And somebody is just commenting that Black Panther is going to rock. Black Panther, the first one, is my favorite movie of all time, bar none. I cannot wait to see that movie. I just,
Um,
oh God.
well, no issues in that department. I have a tiny bit of experience with dealing with someone who is on the spectrum. So no issues there. We will accommodate as however needed.
Yeah, basically it's be fairly literal. Euphemisms don't work well.
Yeah, no,
So
gotcha.
yeah,
Yeah,
just be blunt.
yeah.
Yeah, I had a little self-deprecation last night going over the fact that a lot of the critiques of me directly are just on like how my ASD presents, and it was just I was like going over ways how can I mask better? Maybe I could do this. Maybe I can do that. And like
Oh yeah.
it's
Honestly, Bree, with me, please don't mask. Don't mask, because I actually just had this conflict with another autistic creator, and I would say something and then she would sort of translate it into neurotypical and then respond accordingly. And I'm like, what even are you like? What? Like, because I was just like, I said the word no and it was in text, right? So you always have a little bit of, misunderstanding with texts. But um, I just gave her some short answers because I was tired.
yeah. I
I was
mean,
exhausted. And she was like, oh, this usually means the person's going to end things and all that. I'm like, no. Like, and so then we had this we talked it out. And apparently it's like, oh, no, when I say no or whatever, I really just mean no. I don't mean like I'm mad. I'll tell you if I'm mad,
yeah.
you know? And
Um,
it's just like, yeah.
well, there's more to it than that, and I'm gonna be a little bit more like forthcoming on that. It wasn't just the fact that it was policing the way she expresses or the way her autism is presented or things like that. It was more so the gaslighting around those things. To be fair, it was her questioning herself in how she operates, how she thinks, how she talks, how she responds, or even ways she
Uh,
interacts. But no, a very specific person has said some very derogatory shit, and not just about Bree, but also about our relationship.
mm.
And it was very gaslit and performative and disgusting.
All
And that's
right. Well, you know what? Yeah, we can break that down privately.
yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah, and it just it had Bree thinking like, fuck, am I this terrible person, basically, and that's again being vague, but like, it
Well,
you have,
that's fairly how typical for how we're treated as autistic people.
and it's
So,
like people don't understand the ramifications of their actions, of the shit that they say, how it affects people in real life. Like, it's so easy to sit here and say, oh, you talk this way, or whatever the case may be, or comment on our relationship, which is something that's obviously very deeply personal and private, to the point that it affects how we interact. You know what I mean? And it's just like people just get on this
Yeah.
internet and feel so emboldened and inclined to just throw their fucking opinion about, you know, our relationship, or how we interact, or whatever the case may be, to the point that, like, now we're having this deep, you know, introspection and conversation to ourselves, you know, and each other, you know, hey, am I really this way? And I'm just like, where the fuck is this coming from? You know, like, no.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm
Yeah.
having to convince my own girlfriend, like, that's not even remotely true. Like, where is this coming from? You know? So
Yeah.
people, that's why I said earlier, you know, boundaries when it comes to, you know, nobody on this app really knows me or Bree, let alone to know what our relationship is like, or you know, how we interact with each other. And to sit there and so publicly, with your whole chest, make this entire, like, diatribe on TikTok about how Bree is X, Y, and Z to Cindy, and Cindy is X, Y, and Z to Bree. Like, come on now. That shit is fucking so disrespectful.
Yeah, I pretty much missed all that because,
Yeah, it's bad.
yeah. So since I've got you on a live, and we're all cool, we're not fighting with each other. I did see some recordings of your conversations that I wanted to ask you about. At one point, you said this is white space. Were you referring to the fact that you're white and this is your space?
Yeah, well, okay, so it's twofold. Number one, that live is the next day. It's not even the same live. It's the next
No,
day.
that doesn't matter. That my question is
No,
actually very
but
limited.
no, but it does, because I was by myself that day. Number two, yes, I am white. This is my platform, but I have a handy dandy, neat little feature that you could get this live blocked and get me blocked for a week, but I can go live right now. I'm actually blocked for, I think I'm almost to the end of a month now, but I can still go live. Like, my live is whitelisted. Breezy actually just lost her main account, and anytime she tries to go live, she gets banned, or whatever the case may be. So Bree and a few of our other friends have actually, like, they will use my platform to be able to, you know, converse amongst friends, or whatever the case may be, and do so feeling safe, and so on and so forth. And Bree has worked with me on that to help to be able to, you know, kind of create that space. So yes, I am a white creator. This is my white ass page, but you know, my girlfriend and them use this space because they can't get banned. It's like their space.
Okay, so to put it a little bit delicately, you're not losing this space because you lack the melanin required to be booted, right? Is that what we're talking about?
Yes.
Okay, now we're on the same page. I'm trying to word things carefully for the reasons that you're familiar with.
Yeah.
And so when you say it's a safe space for persons of increased melanin, that's also basically what you're talking about, right? Like, it's like, okay, this isn't going to end because I'm an envelope, and these other people are going to use this space because it's safe for them, because I'm using my bleached facade for their benefit.
Yes. That's yeah. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Okay. Okay. That I understand. Then that I understand.
I just want to add a layer to that, white mama, from my perspective too, and this is a message that I want people to get, specifically specifically BIPOC, and this is a strong.
I'm gonna add she's having a baby, because I know she I think this is why she wants to.
Yeah. This is a strong point of reference for me that I want people to understand.
Yeah.
And the way I say it, see, now I have to the way I say it can sound harsh because I don't know how else to say it, but when a white person has a large platform and I go to that large platform, without cultivating that space or working that space to be safe for me, I automatically assume it's not safe. Like if I see a white person, I think this is John Smith's house. I'm in Christopher Columbus' house right now. So
absolutely.
Christopher Columbus' house, and I have not muzzled, made sure his hands tied and stuff. I automatically assume he could go grab a musket anytime. I will not feel safe. And so this is the message I've been trying to get out, that I understand the whole ally thing and accomplice and all this stuff. To me, it don't register because they have not even scratched the surface of deconstructing. They're still in the process of doing it. So to assume that I'm going to be okay there, it's like I'm putting myself in danger. I wish the people, as bad as it sounds, would just approach these large platforms like that and go to BIPOC platforms to get your anti-racism, to get your cultural, like to learn about other the culture stuff. Go to BIPOC platforms. Go and leave them alone, because like the best of them ain't even close. So that sounds horrible. I don't know how else to say it. You've been putting out videos all the time saying, I've been like, you better say we. What you mean, Dan? You guys, you too, all of y'all. Like, you know, I've been trying to like figure out how I can reword it, because now people saying that's mean and I shouldn't talk like that, but I don't know how else to deliver the strength in that message.
Real quick, I want to address a comment. It says, even if a white person cultivates, I didn't cultivate the space.
Yes, she didn't do it.
Bree did it.
I did it. Ray did it. A couple black women.
A few. She's having a baby. You want to add something?
Yes. Hey, y'all. My camera's off because I'm with my child, and this app is messy. So this is what you're gonna get. I have 3 thoughts. My first thing is, in Virginia, we say in the backwoods, we say you got to take the hits, but doesn't mean you have to take insults.
I don't give a fuck if you don't feel safe around black people.
Goodbye. Can I just pause for a second? I'm gonna do a correction. If there's anybody saying anything, there's no, especially if somebody's talking, there's no need to address them. You just block. There's no need to break. Sorry about that. She's having a baby. Go ahead.
It's okay. So in the South, or at least in Virginia, it could just be my backwoods black family, but we say you got to take the hits, but you don't have to take the insults. So, lots of mistakes are made, but insulting people's children, insulting people's relationships, and insulting people's disabilities are always out of line and out of pocket. Period. There's no buts and ifs about it. I don't care. No. Second of all, I want to say I'm really happy that you guys are spending time together. I do not think that every time you go live, you're beholden to address this issue. I do think that it's helpful. I don't know who made up this rule, but it seems to be like I feel like in Black TikTok, when someone messes up, we address it, they take the licks, and after a certain amount of time, it's over, and we really don't bring it up again. Like, no one ever thought Womblands would be over. But now, we don't address that. If I see Aunt Karen live, I don't address that. It's over. Like, that's how we do. So, to me, this is something that was started with a Black woman making Black safe space when another Black woman's live was banned. So we brought it over here, and then things quickly went to the left. I'm not speaking on that very long Constitution, Bill of Rights, 15 hours live, because I'll die. I just can't do it. Bigger shit to fry. I mean, we got monkeypox, for Christ's sakes. But I will say, I don't know how long it's going to be, but the ancestors will tell Breezy. The ancestors don't speak to the envelope, folks. I'm sorry, Nuggets, but Breezy will tell you. I do think, again, you guys should just keep, you ladies should keep in mind that we're handling this how a lot of, I think a lot of people of color handle things. Once everybody gets out what they have to say, it's over. Like, people have come back for much worse stuff. I am not Indigenous, so I'm not going to speak for the Indigenous community. However, I am Black. However, I personally felt harmed for some of the things that MW said. As a human, as a mother, as someone who has children, you know, I have a blonde hair, blue eyed baby. I thought what he said was I found it very triggering. In
Yeah.
2021, I gave birth, and the racism, my child wasn't even 4 minutes old, and the racism was already starting, claiming that I couldn't know who the father was. You know,
Wow.
it started 5 minutes in. So what I'm going to say is, the last thing I wanted to say was, I feel like you had a very constructive conversation. I know, Mama's talking on the phone, girl. Alexa, play Twinkle Twinkle Little Star for my baby. I feel like you've showed up and showed out when you've been asked. You have, when the, you know, I kind of feel like Aunt Karen and I Speak and Brother P and Nurse Naya and other people are kind of like the flow of Black TikTok. And every time you've been asked to address things or show up, you have. So people are still trying to process, but at this point, we've told you what you've done wrong, and you don't have to hear it every day. That's my opinion as a human. Again, I'm speaking from my Black experience and my opinion. I see people on I see people on this app do really dusty shit. Docs call children, you know, docs call CPS on people that they don't like.
Yeah.
Actual wish harm on people. I mean, y'all, just the simple fact that we have monkeypox, COVID, and like real stuff going on, it's just kind of like
You know, the timing of this whole thing is sus. I'm sorry to interrupt.
yes.
Do you guys know about ICWA? Indian Child Welfare Act?
Yes, I do. Yes.
MW just dropped this nonsense in the middle of ICWA being examined and maybe on the chopping block. And I'm not even American, but the Anishinaabe Nation is on both sides of the border. So literally my family will be impacted by that. And I'm like, why are you putting all this other stuff out here when there are real issues? Because there are very real issues going on.
I'll be honest with you, White Star. So I'm deeply connected ancestrally, and the reason I'm trying to, as much as possible, disengage from some of this stuff is because I'm fully aware that this is a spirit. I'm gonna sound weird now. They're gonna record and say I'm crazy, but I don't care. This is a spirit with intent, and I'm just gonna say there's a train, and I'm trying to not be a cargo on it. I want people to understand that the train is collecting cargo, and this is an active spirit to distract, so that real harm can come to us as a community. Now, the Black community, Indigenous community, and POC individually, there are certain things that are coming for us, heavy.
Yeah.
And spirit is full of intent. I'm just gonna say that. So just be careful what train you hop on.
Yeah. I hear you. I hear you. You know, like I wasn't looking at it that way, but I see the truth in what you say. And you know, the messages that I was getting when I met the fool the first time, and also during his naming ceremony, you know, it just told me to go into a direction, because there's something that I need to be doing and adding positive, and that's my job.
I I've been very motivated to like come out and just put out clips to show that certain things are just lies and misrepresentation. And I've spent time chasing lies and putting the clips saying this and that. And I still feel, I mean, my ancestors telling me, shut the hell up, don't do nothing. But I still feel like I need to do that because it might shut down the the train of it. But
Yeah.
I don't know how to. I don't know everything. I just don't. I
Yeah.
don't have access to everything. I don't know everything, and the best I can do is just to advise people to if you see something, just ask. Just ask
Yeah.
if you see something is like this and you think somebody might have the from the source. Just ask. Say, I
Yeah.
saw this. I see this. Do you have anything to cross reference this as false? Yeah, no problem. But just be careful how you receive information. We just showed you for 3 things that just invalid as hell. Quick, just like that. That should let you know already. Dang, if I could hop on a train that quick, and then these people got on a live within 10 less than 10 minutes, shown that those things are invalid. That should let me know I need to pay attention to what the hell I'm looking at because everything I see can't always be true. Clearly,
Yeah.
not.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but yeah, I'm grateful for everybody that is for the basic part of it, just seeing humanity and everyone
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
both sides, just see the humanity.
Yeah.
No, you don't have to degrade and disrespect and just like dog a human.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah. And you know what? In my anger, I have probably gone after some people in a bad way, but I'm hoping that, I mean, Nuggets over here let me in the live, despite the fact that I told her off in one of my videos. So I
Oh
don't
no,
know if she hasn't seen it yet.
I saw that video. I liked it right away. I was like, hell yeah.
What?
Yeah, I saw the video. I saw your video. I liked it immediately. And because
Okay,
like
cool.
blind spots, there's blind spots, and for anybody that's like that's labor for somebody to
Yeah.
even like to present that and present it in a way where, like I said, you're pointing out a behavior. You're not like dogging the person's humanity. You're not dogging the person's like self. You know
Yeah.
that will get a better accountability, a better like reference to let me do some introspection here. Maybe there's something in me I don't see. Than being like you dog like as soon as you
Yeah.
say that everything shut down. The person just automatically goes to I'm not a piece of trash. Like, you
Yeah.
know. So
Yeah. Yeah.
this behavior is this behavior is that. The whole like calling people like out their name. I understand everybody talk the way they talk, but like when you call somebody out of their name, when you do that stuff, you shut off all ability to see or even for the person to sit in their own crap. And I like for people to sit in their crap. So I can't make you have anything to fight me on to be like, you can't call me
Yeah.
you can't call me that. I'm be like, no.
Yeah.
Don't do that and let's say what the person really did so that they can stand 2 feet down in the actual that they did. That's nice. I like that. Because they ain't got nothing
Yeah.
to fight. They got nothing to fight.
See, me and you, the fact that we're both autistic is really going to work for us.
Yes, it's been working. Listen.
I mean, it's working for us. Like, you're like, when you contacted me and I contacted you, it was like, we're just kind of, we say shit. And I don't feel like there's any reading into things, like I find it to be just genuine. And so if I'm angry, I could tell you that I'm angry, but you're not going to like twist my words around, and that's an autistic thing. I love talking to autistic people.
It makes communication very almost laborless because there's not a bunch
Yeah.
of flow around the communication. He'll say something
Yeah,
straight.
because you don't have to go through all your subroutines in your brain saying, okay, now what culture is this person from? So how do I appear polite to them?
Yeah,
Autistic politeness is usually just simple. Just say it simply.
yeah,
Lay it out there, we'll deal. It's like
yeah,
anytime I find somebody that's autistic, I'm like, one of us, yeah.
yeah. I think that was troubling me, which I have had like a process of like trying to figure out if this is something I need to adjust. But like for example, like I can, whether I'm close to you or like a friend or like family, anything like that. Like if something is wrong, like I will just like say it, and like won't even
Yeah,
like people be like, well, I can't say that. This person did this for me, or this person's my friend, and for me, it's very difficult because I'm like that thing is wrong. That behavior, that you can't do that, and I'll just say it and like be like no, and like apparently that's not how the like it's not that's not correct. I can't even say correct. It's not the norm. I can't say that either. It's not like it's
yeah,
it's just I gotta sit with stuff and figure out how I can um, navigate. I guess being a public, like somebody that's heard publicly, how I can navigate doing that.
yeah, yeah. I get exhausted. I get mentally exhausted trying to figure out what another person might consider polite, and that's why a lot of the time I stick with autistic people because we have a lot of very common um, social needs. Like bluntness, clarity, be literal. Like say what you mean what you say. And a lot of people, oh man, they think we're rude for it, but you meet another autistic person, and you're like, oh, thank God,
It's like I don't gotta sweat my heart pacing. It's like just fine. And that was a lot of my introspection last night. That I'll be honest, with you, some of it I'll be candid. Some of it is not healthy. Um, and I have to make sure that I don't allow this space to make spaces within me that's not healthy for myself. Um, also, so it might come off to the external, like I don't care and stuff like that. But there's just certain spaces where I know this is gonna seep into self-deprecation or
yeah,
unhealthy places that aren't constructive. So
yeah. And you got to guard your spirit.
yeah,
Like you have to guard your spirit. Stay connected.
yeah. You okay, babe? You okay? Okay, you want to finish up with your
Yeah,
live, and we can plan for another one
Yeah.
soon.
Yeah, White Star Mama, yeah, I'm definitely, like I said, whenever you have the time and the space, um, absolutely to have that conversation.
Okay, well, my inbox, I followed you back now, so my inbox is open, and
Awesome.
we'll chat. I'm gonna take off. I don't know what time zone are you guys in?
Mountain.
Okay, so it's 11:30 for me right now.
It is
I'm gonna
10:30 for me.
Okay, so that's only an hour difference. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
cool. Yeah, so I'm gonna head her because I have to take my dogs out before I go to bed.
Okay.
But I'm really glad that we could chat. I'm glad you saw my video telling you off, and that we can still talk. And we'll talk really soon. And by the way, everybody who's given me gifts, thank you. I usually don't get gifts, and I got 20 coins. Yay!
Thank you,
All right,
guys.
so in my language, it's Kigawap Min Minowa, which means I'll see you again. And Chimigwich, which is thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye, White Star.
Bye. It's nice she at least can leave on her own accord. Not get banned.
That,
All right.
that was good.
Yeah. Thank God for
All
that.
right, guys. I'm actually gonna hop in the bedroom and cure this jet lag, and I will talk to you guys soon. Love
Yeah.
all of you.
All right, y'all. We're gonna pop off of here. We will see you possibly tomorrow. Not sure what time, but we'll see, honey. Do you want your 5,000 babes? Or?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, here. Don't lose them in the bed.
Okay.
I love you.
Love you too.
All right, I'll be in there in just a second. All right.